So, that wasn't fun or entertaining. You have to clean up your workspace. I was gonna say something else. Oh yeah, I'm waiting for a package from Tuman with a bunch of cables and a bunch of connectors, and I got a bunch of power cables as well, so that's why I thought it would be best to fix the cable assortment. I got a few things left to do. Screw in the compressor and the preamp. I'm gonna take home the ferrofish because I need it at home to mix. And yeah, just some general cleaning. We're rehearsing tomorrow. I don't know if I said it, but I'm back in Chicago. But instead of playing bass and doing vocals, I'm only doing vocals. So I'm trying to learn how to scream for real this time. And I want it to be clean before we do that. What else? I know I touched on this a little bit last time. I'm gonna make a DIY stone looking wall, and instead of buying foam and spackle, I'm only gonna use spackle. Hopefully I'll do that this week, maybe even, or at least start on it this week. I think it's gonna look awesome with a stone wall behind, and I might buy some light fixtures and stuff. And hopefully, if I'm a bit lucky, I'll have 2 mics that should be here by the end of the week too. I'm slowly building up my microphone collection again. I sold a bunch like a year or maybe two years ago, since I thought I was just gonna do a mobile recording setup. So I wanted just a few mics, the ones I really needed, and not a lot of extra. But now I feel like I have too few, so I'm trying to not get microphones just because I need more. I'm trying to get the microphones that I want, that sounds good in here. So it's gonna be a slow process, but it's gonna be a fun process because microphones are fun. So yeah, I'm just gonna do the last bit of stuff. I'll probably film when I install the gear, because gear is always fun. But I'll be back tomorrow to take apart the mixing console case, because we'll be reusing that for other builds. So yeah. Yo, I'm back. Coffee. Today I'm just gonna drill or take apart the console case, which isn't very interesting, so I'm not even gonna film that. I'm just gonna put the camera on charge and do what I do. I got Neve with me today, so I got no rush to go home. So, I'll see you when I do something interesting. Yo. So I'm guessing some people have the question or thinking,
this seems like a lot of work. Isn't it easier to just sell it or throw it away?
And are you really that cheap?
And yes, I am that cheap, but these cases are usually custom built for the console. They come in and people aren't really interested in, they're really hard to sell. I mean, if you find someone who needs that specific dimension, yeah, sure, but you're not gonna get much money for it. And like I said, it's really hard. I have tried selling cases like this, and yeah, it's pretty much impossible. And to throw it away, I mean, this is really good plywood, and all of these hardware parts are pretty expensive. So I mean, I like to build stuff. If I can get my hands on material like this and build other things with, then I'm happy. And I mean, it's not gonna end up in a landfill somewhere or just crushed. It gets used again. So that's the main reason.
Den kommer bli ball.
Ja, det tror jag också. Ja, jag gillar det. Man får fint ro.
Yo, I am back. Just for a little while, I'm just gonna pick up a few things. I hope this setting looks better. I feel like it does. It's a lot more natural. Anyways, it's Sunday today, so I'm going to church. No. I'm just gonna pick up the multi-core wire and the stage box because tomorrow night I'm getting my package from Thomann, which is mainly just a bunch of connectors and cables and stuff like that. So I'm gonna solder a bunch. I wrought the Tore Sim that's up on the console channel strip. Super nice channel strip, Norwegian made, but with Swedish Lundal transformers. It's 3 Lundal transformers plus, if I remember correctly, I do remember correctly, the EQ is also spool based. What's it called? Not spool, inductor based. But yeah, I'm just gonna bring stuff home and I'll bring the camera with me as well. I'll be back later. Bye. Yo people, do you know what today is? Because I have no idea. Drinking coffee, bouncing out, kick snare and toms for both the Eldfeld songs because we're going to the rehearsal space later to run them through the PA and re-record the room mics separately so I can have a bit more control. I didn't do it while we recorded. I was supposed to take and make samples, but I completely forgot. But this is even better. But my dad called and we are going to the wood store, so I'm gonna buy a piece of shelf. I don't know how you say it really. I mean, sounds weird. Oh, and a big bucket of spackle so we can do the back wall. I'm probably not gonna do the back wall this or even next week, but after that I think I'm gonna start with it. But since we're getting the shelf, and I just picked up a package from Amazon with 2 shelf consoles, we're gonna paint the shelf and put that up. I also did some more soldering yesterday, so we're gonna put all of that in the rack. Yeah, now I'm bouncing out a bunch of tracks. I'm gonna do some mixing as well, and then pack everything up and go buy the shit we need. And hello, you beautiful bastards. Yesterday I did a bunch and I didn't bring the camera because my backpack was completely full. So instead of talking, I thought I would just show you quickly and talk about what we're doing today. So on the rack up here is the power distribution. So I moved everything down a bit, and here we got these are wrongly labeled. These labels were supposed to go there, but I'm an idiot, as you already know. So that's done. This side of the rack is the same. And I pulled some cables. This bastard is done, or almost. I don't have outputs for the upper headphone amplifier. I'm just gonna buy regular pre-made cable from Thomann to use for that. The shelf is up. Since it's not a shelf that's gonna be easy to access, we're mainly gonna have like things like that on it, like ornaments and inspiration and shit. But it does tie together the room, I think. But oh yeah, and these are the power supplies for the 2 mics that's up in the ceiling. I pulled the cable through there and going back there, etc. But today is this damn wall. Been to some stores, so the first thing I'm gonna do is masking tape and put down and move that out of the way. So masking tape and just make sure I don't make a huge mess. But yeah, I have brought this bucket of tile fix, guess it's called tile stuff, which I had left over from the renovation at home, and a big bucket of spackle. So I'm gonna use this as a base for the entire wall. Yeah, I forgot to mention, I'm gonna do the entire wall, and I took down the OSB sheet because it felt like a waste. We can use that OSB sheet to build something else instead. So I'm gonna use this as a base. Hopefully it's enough for the entire wall, and then I'm gonna do the bricks out of the spackle. Was that it? felt like I did a lot more. Oh yeah, and we recorded the drums through the PA, which was what took the longest yesterday. After I'm done with this wall, I'm gonna go home, start mixing, and let it sit and dry for at least a bunch of days. And when I have time left over, I'm gonna start on the tiles. I decided to go with a tile texture, no, a brick texture for the back wall, since this room is pretty industrial. I mean, we're in an industrial room. It was used in the industry, and I felt bricks were more in that vein. And I'm gonna buy some lights that gonna sit on the walls. I think when we're filming from this like angle or something, it's actually gonna look really cool. So it's gonna be my little producer's area or something. So yeah, let's just get started. Honestly, that went better than I thought it would. I want a bit of texture, and I think I succeeded with getting that. I'm gonna let this dry as much as possible, and then I'm gonna go in with a little speckled spatula, and add where I feel like we need it. Like, this texture is, not all of it, but a lot of it is really great. I love it. This will be like the mortar layer. And got some tape so that I can put when this is all dry and all done, I can put a layer, or put a layout with the tape, which I think will be pretty awesome. It's gonna be fun. So let's just sit and wait for this to dry a bit. Ta-da! Yeah, honestly, I've gone over with a little spatula and just patched a few things and added a little bit. But, I mean, that's pretty much it. And tomorrow I won't be here because I'm picking up other stuff, so I'll be soldering as well. So yeah, I'm gonna solder for a few days, and then I will be back here maybe this weekend and start laying out the fake bricks. By the way, I have never done this before, so don't take this as a tutorial in any way. I'm just trying stuff out. I have no idea if this is gonna work and how it's gonna look in the end, but hopefully it's gonna look pretty cool. So yeah, I'm going home. Bye. Yo, back in the studio at home. I just wanted to show you what I got this time in a package. Ta-da! A pair of Audio-Technica ATM 450s. The ones I talked about in the, I think, last video. These are superb for close miking cymbals. So I got one pair. Now I need at least one more pair. Yeah, that was it. Yo, we're back in the rehearsal space. Probably pretty hard to see since it's white tape on a almost white background, but yeah, done. So next up is the spackling. I hardly have any battery left, but I can probably film a little bit and then just so you can see what it is we're doing, how we're doing it. And then after that, he's being a bitch. He wants to play. Yeah. So a little bit of spackling and charge the phone or the camera. Then hopefully we're done with the first layer. I'm gonna build it up in several layers because I want some bricks to stand out more, etc. So I'm doing a uniform layer as the first layer. Yeah, so let's go. Let's do this last part together, cause I feel like I can't spend any more time today on this. I need to get home and do other things. But I've done pretty much half of it. This is just the first blocking layer, so to speak, where I put all the bricks where they are supposed to be. And when I'm finished with that, I'll start going in. Yeah, continue building them up. I want them to protrude, I think that's the right word, more from the wall. And by doing it without the tape, you can see it's really harsh lines. So when I do it by hand later, I can add a little bit more of a human touch to it. So it's not as perfect, because that's pretty much the name of the game here. Try to make it look good, but not perfect, because perfect is not natural. And I wanted to have a more natural, hand carved brick wall rather than a perfect brick wall. I'm having a lot of fun doing this actually. And since I know I don't have to be perfect now, I think it's almost extra fun because of that. Now hopefully this doesn't take forever to dry. I mean, it's gonna take a long while to dry since it's semi-thick, but it would be nice if after the weekend I could come in and start adding the second layer. And I'm gonna bring a smaller spackle spatula or whatever they're called, so I can do a little bit more detail work. This is the smallest one I have, but in some places even this is too big. But I do have one of those painting spatulas, this kind of painting, which should be small enough to do some detail work. And I might have to use that one on the edges. Yeah, like I said, this is fun. And I think it's starting to look good. And I didn't know that the spackle was this gray color. I mean, it's probably going to be a lot lighter when it's dry. Maybe even white. But if it could stay like close to this color, I wouldn't be mad about it, because that means it's gonna be easier to paint it when we're at that stage. And I can even leave some bricks in its like natural color and just add weathering. Because even though this is my first brick wall I've ever done, fake brick wall, I do toy around a lot with like these kinds of, I guess you could call it art. So I'm not a complete beginner when it comes to making things. So I do have a plan, and so far it's going according to that plan, which is very nice. Makes me feel more comfortable for the future. The next steps makes me feel like I'm not just destroying a wall, I'm actually making something that will look pretty good in the end. Maybe I could do a little bit more, I don't know. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and I'm done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We can do one more, I guess. Yeah, let's do a little bit more before it's time to go home. Yeah, I'll show you when I'm done. Yo! Okay, so I made the executive decision to remove the tape from the bottom and just do it to that edge, because that edge is the bottom edge of desk is at the same height as that. And I can make this to look more like concrete. But yeah, the first layer is done. It looks weird, but I think you may start to get the idea of what I'm going for. It's like a old-timey industrial look. Yeah, old-time industrial. Right now it looks more like a wall, old wall. But I think with everything together and finished, it's gonna look a whole lot better. And of course I'm gonna have some lights that sells the idea even more, and paint, and yeah, it's gonna be a dark gray. But Neve is fed up, I'm fed up, so yeah, I'm gonna go home and I have to let this dry for like a few days, so I can do some mixing and everything else I need to do at home. So, yo people, we are back in the rehearsal room. The wall is dry. It shrunk a bit, but that was to be expected. Not too much, honestly. So yeah, I'm gonna do the second layer. Start building these up a bit more. And that's all I'm gonna do today. I'm alone, no Neve this time. So I'm just gonna listen to music and drink my Fanta and work. So. doing some finger painting. I want to talk a little bit about being effective or efficient, I think is the word. Today my brain is tired as hell. We had a long meeting yesterday. So even though I should mix today, I feel that my headspace isn't right. I'm too tired to make good decisions. So instead of either doing a bad mix or just sit at home and not do anything, I thought this is pretty easy on the mind. And since this is pretty easy on the mind, aka simple to do and all of that, hopefully when I'm done with this, my mind is pretty rested and I'm hopefully not as tired when I get back home. This is the same way I think when I plan out the day. Like if I'm super tired, I feel like I'm not gonna be able to do a good mix, then I do something else that doesn't require me to be very creative, and things like drum editing or soldering, or depending on what I'm soldering. If I'm building a kit, I want to have a rested head, but if it's just cables, like I've done 1,000 of them, I don't need to be in any headspace. I can put on a TV show and watch it while I solder. So by doing that, I manage to be pretty efficient and get a lot done in a day. And yeah, that's it. Let's talk about the wall. I'm almost completely out of spackle. I only have this, so I can pretty much do this grout thing. I'm just putting it in between the stones. And with the rest, I'm sure I'll have a little bit left. I'll just build up a few stones and do a couple of touch-ups here and there. But then this wall is done. I thought I would maybe be able to build it out a little bit more than what I have before this spackle ran out, but it is what it is. I'm not gonna buy an entire bucket just to do it more. I mean, it's just a wall for looks. I don't care that much if it's exactly how I imagined it. To me, this looks fairly good right now, and I'm hoping it will look really good when I'm finished. But like I said before, I've never done this before, so I don't know how it will turn out. I hope it's at least close to what I have in my head, but who knows. Either way, it's always fun to do something instead of just buying a pre-made product, because nobody else will have this wall ever. And I'm hoping I'm inspiring you to do a little bit more by yourself and not just buy pre-made products. That is kind of the goal for this for this channel, I guess, like a sub-goal. I like to inspire people into doing things by themselves, learning new things, and not rely as much on store-bought products. You can do a lot by yourself if you just put in the time. And I've soldered a bunch of cables. I didn't film it because it's just soldering. And I'm gonna do a bunch of work on the console itself. Maybe you can see it a little bit. I've opened it up, but apparently I can't open it all the way. But I need to install the direct outs and the line inputs. And yeah, so that's also what I'm doing at home. And mixing, I got a deadline on one of the songs, so hopefully I can do a little bit on it. Tonight I only have the vocals left to mix, and then it's just detail work and a bit on the master bus, and then song should be finished. I did bring a tiny spatula for this, but the fingers work better this time. I'll probably bring out the spatula when I do the build out on some of the stones, the bricks. This has been a long journey. It takes a lot of time to do these. More time than I thought it would take. But thankfully I have a lot of time on my hands, so it's okay. Or it's all about priority, I guess. I want to get this done so I can do the rest of the room and get the console back in its place, and I want to be done with this. Honestly, I'm losing a little bit of energy for building, which it's pretty normal when you're doing something for weeks and weeks and weeks. I still think it's fun, but I'm looking forward to the day that I can focus more on just mixing and recording and not having to build as much. But we're getting closer to that day every day. Every time we're here, every time we're doing something, we're getting closer. And having this room for recording is gonna be so damn awesome. The drums we recorded for Elferd are some of the best drums I have recorded ever. Still, a couple of things I want to do to this room, and things that I want to get a little bit better, a little bit closer to my ideal, but so far some of the best drums. And I'm looking forward to what the future holds. I mean, after we're done with this, and it's dry, etc. I mean the spackling, then it's just the paint left, which will probably also take a lot of time, but a little bit of paint can transform anything. So even though I'm not perfectly happy right now, I'm pretty sure with a bit of paint I'll be at least very close to that. But it is fun too. I mean, I enjoy doing things like this, to be creative in another medium than music, but it's fun for like an hour. Then after that, it's pretty much just trying to get it done without losing your mind. But at least I have Neve to keep me company. He's laying down right behind the camera right now. He's so excited to get here. But then when he's here, it's like, can't we go home? And I don't blame him. I mean, he's been here for almost as many hours as me. And not even I think it's fun all the time. He's a trooper. He's a really good boy. He doesn't complain very much. I mean, you've heard it in the video when he does, but that's like after we've already been here for a bunch of hours, like sometimes 6 or 8 hours. That's when he starts to complain. Sometimes earlier too, but he's a good boy. And I mean, he's as much part of the studio as I am now. He's always here, always helping, always. Oh yeah, when I'm more finished here, I plan on doing a video which I noticed there isn't much talk about, or there aren't many videos of it on YouTube, etc. I guess it's because it's pretty specific. I mean, there aren't a lot of genres where you mic up every single cymbal, except for metal, at least not that I know of. So I've been looking at trying to find like cymbal spot microphone videos, but I haven't been able to find much of it except for like ride and hi-hat, which is the most common, but there aren't a lot of people talking about which mics are, or which positions are best for close miking cymbals, and specifically for extreme metal. So I thought I would do a deep dive into that. I'm still learning that as well. I mean, I haven't been close miking cymbals for that long, so this is a learning journey for me as well, and I'm sure I will find some cool stuff when I do the video. But since I have a few microphones, different types of microphones now that are good for spot miking cymbals, I thought I would do like a deep dive and shoot out between different microphones. And I know my favorites, but I'm sure you'll find some that you like better maybe. So that's a little bit of one of the videos I plan on doing in the future and that I'm looking forward to. Now that we have this room, I mean, we've had this room for a long time. I've kind of neglected it. Yeah, we can talk about that too. Sometimes you just get ideas in your head. Like for example, the recording room where we have the drums and everything is a square room, or it's more or less a cube. And if you know anything about acoustics, you know that a cube is pretty much the worst thing for acoustics. So when we got this room, I pretty much made it up in my mind from the start that this isn't going to be a good recording room because it's a cube. But yeah, turns out I was completely wrong, and it's actually sounding really good. With a bit of help, I think we can get it sound fucking awesome. But what I was getting at is that since I have this rig now, it's so much easier for me to do content like drum recording or miking up cabs and stuff that's specifically targeted towards extreme metal. I've been doing this for a long time, but I'm not an expert in any way. So I'm really looking forward to experimenting a lot more and trying out new techniques and just be creative again. Let's do a time lapse instead. I feel like I'm done talking. I want to listen to some music and get this done. But I mean, I think I've done at least more than half the wall. So, time lapse. Yo, the wall is done with the spackling. I added more where I needed to. One last thing I'm gonna do before I start painting this is to take a sanding sponge or disc or something and just knock off all the spiky things, just make it a little bit smoother. But yeah, the wall is finally done. Here's a bunch of the cables I did, and here's some more. I'm still gonna make this part more organized. It's pretty unorganized right now. But yeah, Neve is fed up, I'm tired. I want to go home. I want to take it easy for a while and see if I can get a few hours of mixing done. I think stuff making. Go home, mix. This is probably it for the video, I'm guessing. Yeah. See you.